Was Angels the turning point of your career?
Yeah, I think it is very fair that Angels was the turning point. Last year, released the album, and I'd had 2 number 2 songs. I'd had a number 7 and a number 12, and the album went in at number 12. The album went in at number 12 and then dropped off the face of the earth. Sold about 33,000 records, which is bugger all, And I think everybody started to twitch a little bit. And then when Angels was released, I went off on holiday and it did ever so well. And I can remember being sat in Jamaica in the sea, and the guy from the hotel brought out the phone and said, "It's your manager on the phone." He says, so he gives it to me and he says, "Your album's just gone platinum, 300,000 sales." It's like, what? From 33,000 sales to 300,000 sales is absolutely amazing. Considering it didn't do anything for about 5 months. And then the second week they phoned up and said, "It's 12,000 off going double platinum." So I was a happy boy. And yes, it was the turning point of my career.
Is Angels an important song to you?
It's important to me that I wrote that song because I feel as though I had to thank a lot of people that I can't touch. And that's why that song is important, and it says everything I wanted to say to those people. And now the other reason it's important is because it's given me an opportunity for people to listen to me now. What I am chuffed with is that people will listen to me without any misconceptions. Basically, it's a good song. It's a good song, and thank God I wrote it.
After its success, do you wish Angels was the first release from Life Through a Lens?
No, because as it happens, I don't wish it to be the lead track from Life Through a Lens, because as it happens, I released Old Before I Died, and I released Lazy Days, and I released South of the Border, and they didn't go unnoticed, but they were in people's subconscious. So when Angels eventually did come out, and it was like, well, hang on a minute, there's, 4 other songs? 3 other songs on there? Oh, that's great. That's worth buying then. It's worth buying then, because there's all these songs as well that we sort of know, but we haven't listened to that much. So we'll go and get that. And then when Let Me Entertain You came out, it was like, and another. Oh, great. There's 5 singles on this album. That's value for money. So I'll go out and buy it, and that's what happened.
When did you first discover you could write?
When I was about 5. I thought I was capable of writing lyrics. I used to write poetry. I've written poetry all my life. And looking back at stuff now, and it's quite good what I used to do. I mean, it's really good. The stuff that I used to do when I was a kid. And I think that in the past, anything that I tried to do along those lines was very much suppressed. And in the way, that was a great thing for me, because it was suppressed that much that by the time I come to be able to do it and willing to do it, it just came out whoosh, like an explosion, and it still is. It's just coming out all over the place.
Is it a special position to be in, to be writing hit songs?
Yeah, it is. It is very special, especially when what you're doing you find really easy, and you find it a joy to do. That's the most amazing thing about what's happening. Is I thought that because I looked at musicians before, and the way they wrote songs was like the way they seemed to be performing and writing songs. I thought it was some sort of head surgery that they were doing, open heart surgery, that's how important the writing of these songs were, and how difficult it was. And to actually sit down with a guitar now and strum it and sing a melody over it and sing a chorus over it, to find out how easy it is, I feel very betrayed.
What is your songwriting process?
It's different for every song with me as well. You know, I wrote my first song last week, words and music, and it's called My Pimp Won't Let Me Go. Thank you, Jerry Springer, for the title. And but mainly, you know, I get 3 or 4 chords and I'll go and I'll start singing something over it, and I work alongside a guy called Guy Chambers, who is a genius. You know, most of our stuff is written while we're waiting in dressing rooms, so I'll start strumming the guitar and I'll start singing something over the top of it, then Guy will get the guitar and I'll carry on singing over it, and then we'll get the chorus, and then we'll get the middle eight, blah 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 blah. But I'm getting more and more proficient at writing everything now, which is great. But I always want to work with Guy.
Where is the strangest place you've ever come up with a song?
The strangest place the songs come to me is in my dreams. And that was Angels. That came to me in my sleep.
Did the whole song come in your dreams?
First chorus. Thank you very much.
You almost seem to be winking at the camera during your songs.
Yeah, well, it is. It's that great thing. When I was a kid, I used to love when people in films would actually be chatting to and then they'd let you in. You know, they'd be acting, and then they'd turn to the camera and let you know something that the other actors don't know, or pretending not to know. And that was the thing of that was in Strong. It says, my breath smells of 1,000 fags, and when I'm drunk I dance like me dad. I've started to dress a bit like him, and early morning when I wake up I look like Kiss but without the makeup, and that's a good line to take it to the bridge. And it's a nice thing that lets everyone in. Actually, what I said was, my breath smells of 1,000 fags, and when I'm drunk I dance like my dad. I've started to dress a bit like him, and early morning when I wake up I look like Kiss but without the makeup. And I went like that, and I said, that's a good line to take it to the bridge. And I thought, oh, that's what I'll put. Are
you aware that you parody performing as you perform, or is that just the way you are?
I'm very aware, but I think that the more I've done it, the more people like me. Self-parody. You know, because I can't take me serious, and I can't take what I'm doing up on stage serious. You know, I come on and finish songs like Bruce Forsyth used to finish, and it's just like. And I finish songs and I'll say, you're a better audience than last night, or you're such a lovely audience, I'd love to take you home with me. Self-parody. You know, and it's just like, it isn't serious. And people know that. And I'm not trying to take myself serious, I'm just trying to do a song and make people laugh.
You don't always seem to be that happy to take some bands as seriously as they want to be taken.
The absurdity of watching people get along with the same job that I'm doing, but taking it so very serious. Really, you know, fucking, you know, all that business that goes on with the whole indie mob. And it's like, oh, bless. Don't take it that seriously. It's only a laugh.
Do your lyrics come easily?
The lyric always comes out as a whole anyway. It basically normally does. Just comes. I don't have to think about it too much. The minute I start thinking about it, then it's wrong. But I mean, things like on the last album, like a lot of this stuff on the last album was the first thing that I thought of, and I thought, right, when we start recording that proper after doing the demos, I'll replace it, because there was no way that I wanted a lyric like, your mind gets burned with the habits you've learned, but we're the generation that's got to be heard. You're tired of your teachers and your schools a drag. You're not going to end up like your mum and dad, so come on, let me. And I thought, you know, that's basically what I want to say, but I want to say it in a more clever way than that, and a more subtle and a more funny way than that. You know, and basically I just left everything, and by the time I come to start recording the album, I'm so lazy I couldn't be bothered to change it. Even now, I wish I had.
Has it been easier writing for the second album?
Yeah. But I know what I'm doing this time. Instead of saying I know what I'd like to say, so I'll write it down like this, instead I put down what I want to say. And it's been easy writing this one. It has been a lot more easy than the last one. A lot more easy.
What is the new album called?
I've Been Expecting You. The cover of it is me as Blofeld from James Bond, the baddie with the cat on the leather seat.
Is there any track on the album you've enjoyed working on more than others?
Well, I think with the new album, I keep forgetting what songs are on it because there's 15, and that's an awful lot of songs. There's 14 or 15, and I think the most fun to write was Millennium, which is the new single that's coming out. Basically, I think it was the most fun to write because it had got a really strong John Barry string line from You Only Live Twice, which is my favourite piece of strings ever, and with a hip-hop beat. And I love hip-hop, and the lyrics just came instantaneously. And the chorus did too. So it was real fun to write and real fun just to sing it, and it is every time. I think the most difficult one is a song called These Dreams, which is on the album, which was like pulling teeth because, it's about something that was a bit taboo that I shouldn't really be singing about, and I shouldn't really be talking about it, because I don't want people to know what it's about, but I'm sure they will. It was an easy one to write, actually. It was very quick, but it's just the afterthought of going, should I put that on, should I leave it off, should I put that one on, should I leave it off? And I'm doing it now, which is like, or change the lyric.
Did you spend a lot of time sitting down preparing what the album would sound like?
I've never actually sat down and thought what I wanted the new album to sound like. I just hoped I wanted to carry on in this same vein. Well, basically, we just said we did say to Guy, we said, what should we do? We'll just sit down and write and see what comes out. And basically, it's just like Life Through a Lens, but better songs, a better standard of songs. I'm not being disrespectful to my last album because they're all my babies, and I love every song on there. But this album is just better because it is. It's more confident. It's, I've got it right then. Oh, good then.
How would you describe the range of music on I've Been Expecting You?
Musically, it's extremely eclectic. Extremely. It's got... there's a track called Karma Killer that goes along a Mannix sort of route with the most vindictive lyric that I've ever heard. It's Karma Killer. It says, are you cut up or do you easily forget? Are you cut up or do you easily forget? Are you still around? Why haven't you managed to die yet? You could prop up the bar in hell. And from that to go straight into a song called Heaven From Here. No fear, I'll still be here tomorrow. That is weird.
Life Through a Lens was full of anger. Your life is going a lot better now. Has it been difficult to find the range of emotions you need to write songs for a new album?
Was it difficult to get sad? No, the sadness is a lot clearer now. There's a more of a reflective side on the sadness instead of the angst that was there when I was writing the last one. But they're still just pop tunes. Like Ego a Go-Go, Where Were You When You Stole My Pride? Where were you when the party ended? We stitching up the wounds that you thought I need mending. Wonderland has crashed to the ground. The circus has gone. All that's left is the clowns. And there's some horrible lyrics in there. Hide away in your ivory tower and cover me in your golden shower. All that business is all about Take That. Now there's another song that's the older brother of that on the next album, which is called No Regrets. And it's like, if I could just stop hating you, I'd feel sorry for us instead. It's more reflective.
One of the lines in No Regrets, I don't want to hate you, but that's all you've left me with, suggests that you've still got a lot of bitter feelings about your past.
But that's not a bitter lyric. That's an honest thing. It's just like, I genuinely don't want to hate. It's not a bitter thing. I genuinely don't want to hate you, but that's all you've left me with. It's not you twats. You know, I'm sorry, but that's all I can do because that's all you've offered me. You know, and I feel sorry for that. I feel sorry for having to say that. Yeah, but that's just how it is.
There's a track on the new album called Millennium. Is it about keeping faith as we enter the next century?
What Millennium's about, actually not giving a toss if you keep the faith or not. You know, I think the lyrics, some say that we are players, some say that we are pawns, but we've been making money since the day that we were born. Got to slow down and live for liposuction, then detox for your rent, overdose at Christmas and give it up for Lent. My friends are also cynical. We refuse to keep the faith. We all enjoy the madness because we know we're going to fade away. And it's just about, well, basically in the greater scheme of things, we're all quite irrelevant. So just get on with it. And it's giving myself permission to go on a 3-day bender. Go on, sir, off you go. I've already done it. I already did the 3-day bender ages ago when I wrote it. But I think that was me. You know, we all enjoy the madness because we know we're going to fade away. It was me going, go on, go out, get off your head. Basically, that's what Millennium's about.
Strong has an incredibly potent lyric. What's behind it?
Well, basically, what Strong was about was I was on tour in Germany last year, and we'd write a song in the back of the bus on the way to a gig, and then play it in the evening. And I was very depressed last year. You know, I was for whatever reason I was depressed, and I couldn't handle what was going on. You know, that I've basically been used to having 9 #1 hits and being treated very well all the way around the world. You know, and then when you release an album and it basically, in your own terms, stiffs. You know, it was a worrying period of my life, and in Germany and in most in the European countries now, it's not the same in England anymore because people have grown up with me. The promotion that I've seemed to have been doing, it's going to change now, but the promotion I've seemed to have been doing in Europe is still along the lines of that I'm a teen artist, which is not what I want to do. So it's still the Take That crowd that comes, you know, which is great, you know, which is great that somebody's supporting me. But it's still the same crowd that hangs outside my hotel. And there's always about 200 of them. And there's always in the lobby. There's always, you know, as soon as I walk out my door, the flashlights go off. And, you know, I can't go into town and to walk around because they just follow me and mob me everywhere I go. So I was getting that on the European tour, mixed with the fact that I was depressed. So I just ignored everybody, but completely ignored everybody because I couldn't I couldn't give any more of myself than the tour that I was doing. You know, and when I came back to the hotel, I just wanted to go to bed, go to sleep and do the next gig and do the same, you know, but it was becoming increasingly difficult because I couldn't walk around, you know, and even in my hotel room, people would be knocking on and trying to get into my room, which is just like I had no privacy. So because I ignored everybody, I started then getting called names like he's a big head, you're arrogant, you're this, that and the other, you're horrible, and all these sort of letters started appearing. So, and all this, you know, and this abuse would be hurled through to my window at night when I was trying to get to sleep. So I thought, I've got to write a song, and basically that's the way that, you know, and I've got to do this in a funny way too. You know, and basically that's how Strong was. But you think I'm strong, you're wrong. You know, I'll just sing my song. That's basically what it was. My breath smells of 1,000 fags, and when I'm drunk, I dance like me dad. I've started to dress a bit like him. I don't know who you think I am, but this is what I know I am. You know, and the second verse is my bed's full of takeaways and fantasies of easy lays. The pause button's broke on my video, and it's basically laying it down. Leave us alone. I'm not feeling too well. You know, the middle eight is if I did it all again, I'd be a nun. The rain was never cold when I was young. You know, it's just like, well, what do you expect? You know, I was 20, 21, 22, 23, and I had a lot of money and really liked drinking drugs. You know. What do you expect? If I did it all again, I'd be a nun then for you, if that's what you want me to do.
Your audience has changed from the Take That days. When did you notice that it had changed?
When did I notice my audience was changing? The first time I noticed it was Angels had been out and I was doing something for a radio station, and they'd organised this live thing that I was doing. You know, it was an unplugged thing for the radio station that people had bought tickets to come and see, and there was 100 people in the audience, and 50 of them, because I counted, were blokes. And it was like that. Did you know that you were coming to see me? Was this just a lucky thing that, you know, there was this we'll get a ticket and whoever it is, and you know, and the fact is they'd come to see me, which was like, wow, you know, and that was the first time that I noticed it had changed. I didn't know how to perform in front of these people or to keep eye contact with them, and now that I realise that, you know, the way I've been performing when I was in Take That, the way I perform my songs now, is good enough to perform in front of anybody of any age range, of be they male or female, you know, and that's great to know. I was thinking, should I modify the antics that I get up to on stage for Glastonbury? And when I got up on there, I didn't modify anything, you know, and it worked, which is a blessing.
Is it nice to be accepted as an artist?
Yes, it's nice to be accepted as artistically.
You look so confident on stage and appear to be coping well with the pressure of fame. Are you finding it easier to perform now?
Yeah, it is. It's a lot easier. It's, you know, it used to be that my career was the most difficult thing in my life, you know, and my performance was the most difficult thing in my life. Now my personal life is the most difficult thing in my life, and the career just takes care of itself. And I get onto stage and, you know, I just do what I do. You know, it is me. That's me that does that. I don't have to act. You know, sometimes I'll pretend I'm cool, you know, but I'm not. You know, but that's when I act. When it, you know, when the air guitar comes out.
Do you feel you've got a lot to live up to with your second album?
Well, you know, it's quite funny because people start to talk about the turnaround and what you've achieved and stuff. It's only been 4 months, 5 months, you know, and it's only really been 2 singles. It's only been I'm only 2 singles into a solo career, you know, so it does feel uneasy. I'm not resting on my laurels. You know, I know what I've achieved now, and that's very nice. But, you know, I've got loads of stuff to bring out. You know, because basically, people only remember Old Before I Die because Angels came out, and there was 2 more singles than that people on the street won't know the names of. You know, like Lazy Days and South of the Border. You know, so I'm only 2 singles into a solo career, so I can't rest on my laurels.
You've said you didn't care how well Life Through a Lens did. Why did you say that?
I'm a fantastic liar. When I said that I wasn't bothered about the first album, you know, I very much so was. But I'm always self-deprecating. Always self-deprecating. I sing the ballads at the gig and I'll say, it's all right, fellas, you can come back from the bar now. You know, just in case it didn't work. Then there was me going, well, I wasn't bothered anyway. Nah, you know.
In your eyes, how does I've Been Expecting You compare with Life Through a Lens?
My head is in a better place than it was when I released the first album. And if this album's done 2 million, then this next album's going to do 10. You know, that's how I feel, you know, about this. You know, it's turned out to be the not difficult second album. The not so difficult second album, you know, and perhaps I'm setting myself up for a fall, and, you know, perhaps I've got delusions of grandeur now. I've had 2 hits, you know, but I genuinely believe that, you know, I think this is going to be the most important pop album of this year, you know, and perhaps I'm wrong, perhaps I'm right, but only time will tell. You know, I believe I've got a fantastic album.
Have you changed as a person between the 2 albums?
I'm a lot more confident. You know, I think I like myself a lot more. And it's a shame that that's come with success, because, you know, that's always worrying that if success isn't there, does that mean I'll hate myself again? You know, so you know, I'm a lot more confident, I'm a lot more assured. I see through an awful lot of things now, which I didn't before. You know, I always wanted to impress people. I always wanted to impress the indie circuit. You know, I always wanted to impress journalists from magazines that were trendy. And I don't now.
Neil Tennant and Neil Hannon both feature on No Regrets. Why are they there?
When I was listening to No Regrets in the studio, I'm a big Pet Shop Boys fan and a big Divine Comedy fan. And it was part of me flexing my newfound muscles, really, to tell you the truth, was just like, let's see if somebody will come and sing on this that's a name, you know. And I love the Pet Shop Boys and I love Divine Comedy, and I thought it'd be great if they'd come, you know. And it was just me going, right, I'll use the phone and ask them if they'll come, you know. And I'm very honoured that they said yes, and I'm very honoured that they're on the track, because I respect them and they're fantastic, you know. But it was me going, I wonder how big I am now. I just ring somebody up and see if they're in.
Was it difficult trying to get them to appear on I've Been Expecting You?
Well, I know Neil anyway, so that wasn't that difficult, you know, because he said something to me which was, you know, I was working with him before, and I said, you know, I've always wanted you to do something with you and to do different things with different people. And he said, well, they can only say no, can't they? I was like, that. Oh yeah, they can only say no. That's it then. So I phoned him up and I thought, you can only say no. But he came on and he was great, you know, and he gave me some answer lines in the verses and he gave me the answer lines in the chorus, and they sound great. And Neil Hannon came and did this big sinister thing at the end of my track, which is fantastic. That's Neil Hannon going goodbye in his inevitable way. Goodbye. So thank you, the two Neils.
What was it like working with Neil Tennant?
It was, you know, because we both given up smoking, so it was matches of those, you know, and the lyrics that he comes out with, you know, they're just fantastic. And No Regrets is a very Pet Shop Boys based lyric. You know, I love Ian Jury, I love Jarvis Cocker, and I love Neil Tennant. And Neil Hannon's lyrics, those are the people that I love lyrically. You know, and No Regrets was a Pet Shop Boys based lyric. You know, I wanted to write one like that. And when he came into the studio and said that he liked the track, and he genuinely meant it, because, you know, he said to me in the past, I don't like that. You know, and he genuinely meant it, and he picked out a line from it that he thought was fantastic. And I thought, well, you're my hero lyrically. That's very nice, thank you very much. I'm really chuffed, really chuffed. That I'm finally getting my peers checking for me, which is great, which is all I ever wanted for a bit now. It's different now, you know. It's like, oh, I am good, so I'll carry on with it, and cheers.
Because of who you are, it would be difficult to turn the tables around and appear on someone else's album?
Yeah. But that's a different thing, though, for other people. It's like, where would I fit in with anybody? Where would I fit in with anybody? You know? I don't fit in. I can't do the pop thing with anybody. I can't go and sing with... I won't mention any names, but you know what I'm on about. And I can't go into indie world because they're not quite sure of me. You know, they're a bit, oh, we don't know. Oh, you'd never find me singing with Radiohead, that's for sure. No, yeah, it would be great to sing with somebody like that, just to go, I do it for a laugh.
Do you think you've made it difficult for people to take you seriously musically?
Yeah, I did. I've made it hard for people to take my music seriously. I have. You know, but at the same time, you know, I'm not going to take the blame for any of that. You know, it's just like to be cocooned for so long and then to be released and not have a clue what you're doing and be very young and very stupid, because I am. You know, it's inevitable that you're going to fall along the wrong side of the tracks and be encouraged by the wrong sorts of people. And granted, all my actions I did by myself, you know, but a lot of people helped me along the way to be that idiot, you know, but I did it all myself, but I was that idiot myself as well, you know, so I just feel very sad about it. You know, I was looking at the Pepsi advert that I did, the 7-Up Pepsi advert, with the high heels on and a wig and the bikini thing, and it's just like, what a knob. You know, I remember when that came out, I actually left the country for 2 weeks and went to Turkey. And seeing that now, it's just like, I was up all night, I'm still off my head, and I arrived there and I thought, what a laugh that is. I'll get in that and go and stand there, you know, and now it's just embarrassing, you know.
Basically, you're just an old-fashioned entertainer, aren't you? And there's no one else around at the moment doing that kind of thing, is there?
No, there is nobody else that does that. And that's a great position to be in. You know, well, I think it is anyway, you know, because nobody else is doing it. You know, basically, I'm not joking when I say let me entertain you. I'm not joking. Let me do it, and I can swear you'll have a fantastic evening, and you'll go home feeling better about yourself and feeling better about the world. Just because it's mindless entertainment. Just because for an hour and a half someone's going to be silly in front of you and be daft, and you're going to be engrossed in that instead of your problems you've got at home. Let me entertain you.
So finally, are you prepared for any adulation or criticism that may follow the release of I've Been Expecting You?
I'm not prepared for either. I'm not prepared for adulation, and I'm not prepared for criticism. To tell you the truth, I do myself a favour and not read anything. You know, the adulation's not good enough and the criticism's too bad. You know, actually the adulation's embarrassing. It's funny because, you know, people write really nice stuff about me now, and I find it embarrassing because I don't think I deserve it. But that's something I'll take up with my counsellor.